Today we want to talk about succession, and I want us to look at it from a broad perspective, whether you're looking at family, whether you're looking at ministry, you're looking at business. How do we know who's the next? So you just retired, and you knew you're next.
I did.
When did it land on you that this is my next?
What I thought was interesting is this. I had to have a level of trust. Not that the person would continue the exact way that I do things, but that I could entrust the important things of the work to that person. That person understood enough of the mission and our goals in that program to help young families grow and do better and grow healthy families and be willing to put some skin in the game for those families when we met them face to face. You know, you have outlines and all of that, but you can really only work with the person who's in front of you. And when I felt confident that this person here will go in, they're not gonna go in the way I go in. Okay. We're different people, but I can trust this, that they will maximize whatever we have to support this family. I'm good to go.
One of the standouts for me was when your successor came to the mic, and the first thing he said is, "Hey y'all, I ain't Toi Hymon, so don't be expecting from me." How did that make you feel that he basically said, "Look, I'm me. Don't, if you're looking for her."
I felt great about it, but because that's what I had told everyone. He can manage this job, but he's not gonna do it the same way, and that's okay. It's always good to have new ideals, new people willing to run with things, and people also willing to try things differently, because you might get more of what you were searching for than before. You cannot move forward always doing everything the same old way, especially if it ain't moving you forward. You know, I always think it's important for managers or whoever to be able to pick their own team. Then you can ride or die with them. You know, I picked the wrong one, I gotta suffer this, or I picked the right one and we rolling out, kind of thing. And someone did ask me the question. It was like, I've worked here all these years and I've never worked with this person. Well, before I had the job, did you work with me? And the answer was no. I said, because that person is in the right place taking care of business. There's a whole nother level of business that has to be managed, and not one person can do it. So that person is in the right place, like I was in the right place before my position changed. And so that's a really big deal.
I know this is a tough one, especially in ministry, for people to know when it's time. And a lot of times you'll hear people say, "My well that went dry." Do you feel like you retired because it was time? Or do you feel like you had taken them as far as you can go, your well went dry and this next person can take it to the next level?
It wasn't so much that my well had gone dry, but I always had the plan. I believe when we got together, I told you that. The first day I could get the first penny, I gotta go. Whether I did well with money management or not, I got to go. Because I wasn't gonna bring home another dollar, not one more additional dollar if I stayed till 62 or 65 or 67. In fact, the way that things are going, I might brought home less, because they're talking about making changes, right? So that was never it for me. But I will say this, there were some things when you're in the fight, whether it's mission work, whether it's family that you're doing this for, or a day job, there is a gap that you must protect. because you need space for people to grow, space for people to learn, and space for people to give it a try and to perfect it without being hijacked. Once you know they have that skill set, then what comes through the bushes comes through the bushes, and you watch them withstand. It's in that gap, protecting that breach that exhausts, because you have people to answer to up and down the line. You might have someone over here who thinks they can do the job better. Here you are working day and night over at the church. You make one little change, 20 people got 30 things to say, and none of them showed up to help, and then none of them gonna do the job when you hand it over to them, correct? In fact, we'll come back and say, well, somebody need to pay me for this job. This is a lot of work. We mean work for the Lord. I need you to pay me for this job, right?
Yeah.
Okay, same thing happens on a job. People will say, I could do that job. And then when they get it, lose their mind because they didn't know it was all that it was. People have a hard time staying in their own lane because they know so much until you give them the whole lane. And then they like, no, we need to get some other people in here to do this work because this ain't for me. This ain't me, right?
Now, if I'd had my rathers, because my retirement from the full-time workforce actually happened when I became a full-time student. Went back to college at 55 years old with the thought of straight through undergrad, grad, get my master's degree, open up a private practice. But if I'd had my rathers, I wish I could have retired at 40, because retirement allowed me to say, okay, I'm done with that. I don't want to do that stuff anymore.
But if you have retired at 40, how old were your kids when you were 40?
Yeah, it wasn't a possible thing. It was a practical thing when I say that. Because, at 40, no way I could have done that. But retirement loosed me from structures till I can finally now have mine. Mm-hmm. I retired into private practice. My name's on the door. That I paid a portion to operate that office. No one controls my caseload, my time factor. Everything operates on my own. And that is so refreshing. And I think most people who don't do succession properly stay too long because there was something you could do beyond the system, whether it's a family, your professional life, or your church. It's like T.D. Jakes said, I'm giving this over to my daughter because there's a whole bunch of more stuff I need to do in the community. Yeah, post-heart attack and all that kind of stuff. He realized part of his transition and succession, give it over fresh while that is happening now, but also to be able to transition to another place he was supposed to do, he would have never achieved if he'd have stayed there. So I think, too, what we need to think about succession is, and we talked about this in our last episode, how do you live life now without them? Part of it is the beauty of, I'm excited to see what you look like without them. I'm excited to see what our home will look like and our love life without them. But I gotta let you cleanse them before you'll have space for me, because you're still trying to figure that piece out. But it's a great piece that when it happens, I think, oh man, the things that we've talked about that we wanted to do, just even talking to you about it makes me excited.
I'm never coming back up here.
Well, whatever. But I'm thinking, and that is without the limitations of the structure, the 700 miles you got to drive every week. And also, it's going to be without you having to work all of the jobs, drive all the miles. Because remember how often you would say that? You talk about succession. How often did you say that even after you had me here? You were still working all the jobs and driving all the miles. I was saying, love, how you doing all that? I'm here with you.
Yeah, you was working that back job.
Well,
I was still.
And part of it, but part of it was like you wasn't ready to let that go. Part of your existence was working all the jobs, driving all the miles. You had to be comfortable, and now sharing that. I'm sharing the baggage with you, the package with you. You don't have to do it yourself. You have to learn to unlearn that kind of stuff so you can rejoice in your transition and succession.
Now, while we're talking about succession, I want to flip over really quick to family.
Okay.
So I was not able to attend the latest graduate in the household's graduation, right? And I had a phone
We were
call.
not.
Yeah, you didn't go. You could have went, but you stayed with me and showed
Yeah,
me
so we
online.
could watch it online together. Us. You ain't working on a job driving on miles, but I digress.
I received a phone call. Is that okay that I got this phone call? I received a phone call saying to me, I'm really sorry you cannot be there. And I'm like, what? Well, you put in that 18 years or whatever. And I'm like, I could care less about that because I was at the room with my beloved watching online. And guess what? You all were at the house carrying out. Carrying
I
it
see
out.
you now. Yeah.
I said, was you there? Did somebody prepared a meal, a special meal for the graduate?
I see.
I got a phone call from Beloved because he wanted to run an errand. He heard it passing through and people at this table kicking out knowledge to our graduate. And it was, you on speakerphone, what you want to say? Well, of course, first 2-3 things I said, he had already said. Babies, go get 100 jobs, don't make any mistakes. And then just to say, I love you. I'm so happy for you that you, this is your accomplishment, despite saddling that brother up, riding him in. Woo, Jesus. But when I was able to say that to the caller, he was like, you're right. So I got there, you all in position. This is what we're working for. It's for you all to be able to keep the family together, whether we're there or dead. And it doesn't have to look like it looks with us. Because I think maybe last year before it was, well, we ain't gonna be doing all that cooking. I don't care if you eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Just get together because you can't make it through this life without staying in touch and connected and knowing what your sources are. Don't give birth to nobody because look around you. This is who you got to help you raise kids and you don't hardly even like your brother, your sister, your cousin. So I want to recommend y'all don't give birth.
And we have to think about what Jesus taught us in the scriptures. Those disciples could not grow as long as he was present. He had to leave for them to grow. And some successions can happen when you're still there and you can literally watch it. And, you can get your flowers while, you can still smell them. But some succession is not possible with your presence. And you almost have to have a situation like you did with Sam, and you're literally not there while you're still cheering them
Because
on.
when I got home, I was still saying the same thing. Y'all know it's Sunday dinner. Why I gotta say clear out this counter? Why I gotta say this? Why I gotta do this? Why I gotta do the other? I don't know if the counter was clear or not, when I wasn't here after graduation. But they were here. And it sounded like they had a really good time.
And the house was clean because I left the hospital late.
Yeah,
and when I came home, it was together. And I felt proud about that too. So, closing words.
I think one of the other questions that has to be asked is this, and we don't have time to discuss it today, maybe another time in the very near future, is this. We talked about succession, who's going to take over. I think, too, a question has to be asked, should this continue beyond this? It may not need to continue. It may have inspired enough people to go in other directions and create new things. Or I can remember being asked by my beloved deacon, Toi, are you just going to watch it die? And I said yes. And I did. Because there was no way to join in and help it grow. And we know from looking at the children of Israel out in the wilderness, sometimes people got to all pass over before you can get it going because it's taken the wrong direction. We're no longer looking to do the work of the Lord. We're doing other stuff.
Yeah. And if I could put a book out there for you to listen to that hits on what Toy's talking about, is Autopsy of a Deceased Church. It wasn't just about a church as much as it is about something that you have to let die because it no longer has any relevance. And if you keep breathing life into it, you're literally breathing death and irrelevance. So part of succession is knowing if you've done as much as you can and what's going forward, if it's healthy, back off, let it happen. If it's unhealthy, but you think you got to breathe life into it, maybe you need to let it die so something else can be birthed. So,
Glory. That's an excellent book.
yeah, very good. Thank you for tuning in.
God bless you.
We love you. See you next time.
Bye. Thank you.